Have you ever wondered what truly happens when a woman realizes she's lost a high-value man? Not just any man, but someone who brought depth, stability, and growth into her life. What goes on in her mind when she looks back and recognizes the irreplaceable quality she once overlooked? It's more than just regret. It's a transformative experience, one that shakes her to the core. Let's set the stage. Imagine this. She thought she could do better. Maybe her friends or her ego convinced her she was settling. But now, when the dust has settled, she begins to see the cracks in her own reasoning. Every trait you embodied, your patience, your ambition, your unwavering principles rooted in Stoicism, becomes a mirror reflecting what she has lost. Here's the twist. This isn't just about her missing you. It's about facing a version of herself that wasn't ready to value someone like you. And this revelation is both painful and enlightening. We'll take you through her journey, step by step. From the initial shock of realizing your absence, to the deep self-reflection that follows, and ultimately the life-changing lesson she takes with her. Stay tuned, because what you'll uncover here could change the way you view your own worth. Let's dive into the first crucial stage, the initial shock and denial. This is where everything begins, where the realization hits her like a tidal wave, and her world starts to shift. 1. The initial shock and denial. Picture this. She's scrolling through her phone late at night. Her feed is filled with mundane updates, selfies, and fleeting distractions. Then she pauses on an old photo, a memory of you both laughing carefree, in a moment that now feels like a distant dream. Her heart skips a beat. At first, she shakes it off, brushing the pang of nostalgia aside. I'm fine without him, she tells herself. But deep down, the storm is brewing. This is the beginning of the initial shock. In her mind, she never truly believed you would walk away. Why would you? You were patient through her doubts, steadfast in your values, and resilient in the face of challenges. And yet, here she is, facing the cold reality that you're gone. Her ego plays tricks on her. It whispers you didn't need him. You'll find someone better. But as the days pass, those whispers grow quieter. Her subconscious begins to rebel, replaying moments of warmth, kindness, and understanding. She remembers the way you handled conflict, with composure and stoicism, never allowing anger or impulsivity to dictate your actions. She starts to realize that those moments, once taken for granted, were signs of a rare emotional maturity. We dives into her memories, seeking answers. Old text messages, shared playlists, and even mundane conversations become artifacts of a time when she felt truly seen. But now those moments are tinged with regret. She asks herself, why did I let this slip away? How did I not see what I had? Denial kicks in as a defense mechanism. She tells herself that your relationship wasn't as special as it now seems. But the more she tries to suppress these thoughts, the stronger they resurface. She starts noticing the void, small at first, but growing with each passing day. The absence of your grounding presence, your unwavering support, and the quiet strength that made her feel safe is now deafening. And here's where it gets deeper. The shock isn't just about losing you. It's about losing the version of herself that felt whole with you, where she begins to confront a side of herself she's been avoiding, the one that allowed pride and fear to push away something rare. But let's ask ourselves, why is this stage so crucial? Because it lays the foundation for everything that follows. Without this initial wake-up call, she would remain in her bubble, unaware of the depth of her loss. This moment of shock forces her to pause, to reflect, and to start peeling back the layers of her emotional armor. For you, the man who's moved on or is in the process of growth, understanding her journey in this phase isn't about gloating or seeking revenge. It's about recognizing your own value. It's a reminder that your presence in someone's life leaves an impact far beyond the surface. As she navigates through this storm, the questions will haunt her. Did I make a mistake? Will I ever find someone like him again? But the journey is only beginning. Stay with us as we explore how this shock evolves into something much deeper, a relentless cycle of comparison and longing. 2. The comparison game. Once the initial shock fades, a subtle but persistent habit takes over, the comparison game. It starts innocently. She meets someone new, a friend sets her up, or perhaps she swipes right on a dating app. On paper, this new person seems promising. He's charming, maybe even successful. But as the conversation unfolds, something feels off. Unbeknownst to him, every word he says, every gesture he makes is measured against a silent yardstick. That yardstick, it's you? She begins to notice the difference in the little things. Maybe he lacks the patience you showed when she was venting about her day. Perhaps he doesn't have the same quiet ambition that drove you to continuously improve yourself. Where you would have responded with calm stoicism during a disagreement, he might react impulsively, making her realize just how rare your composure was. Each interaction becomes a subconscious audit of what you once brought to her life. She remembers the nights you stayed up late to help her solve a problem, your unwavering support in moments of doubt, and the way you carried yourself with integrity no matter the circumstance. And here's the kicker, it's not just about who she meets next. Even in casual conversations with friends or colleagues, she finds herself mentally comparing their traits to yours. She begins to realize that your qualities weren't just superficial niceties, they were deeply rooted values. Every time someone falls short of the standard you set, a quiet ache settles in. It's not that she's actively searching for a clone of you, but rather, she's coming to terms with how your unique combination of traits shaped her experience of love and connection. Now imagine her sitting alone after another date that didn't quite feel right. The realization sets in. Not everyone has his level of patience. Not everyone can make me feel as safe or as valued as he did. This phase isn't just humbling, it's eye-opening. She starts to see that what you offered wasn't something easily found. And with every failed attempt at moving forward, her respect for what you represented deepens. Here's a thought for you, the viewer. Have you ever been in a situation where you've been compared to someone's past? Or perhaps you've been the one doing the comparing. How did it feel? Now let's make this interactive. If this resonates with you, hit the like button to let us know you're following along. Have you ever noticed someone struggling to find what they once had? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Let's start a conversation about the value of authenticity, stoicism, and true connection in today's world. But wait, we're not done yet. Because as her journey continues, this constant cycle of comparison only leads her deeper into introspection. What happens when she moves beyond simply comparing others to you and starts questioning her own role in losing you? The next phase, regret and self-reflection, is where things really start to shift. Stay tuned. We stay tuned. 3. Regret and self-reflection. As the cycle of comparison intensifies, a new, heavier emotion begins to take hold, regret. It creeps in during quiet moments, often when she's alone with her thoughts. The world around her continues to move, but internally she's stuck replaying scenes from the past, questioning every choice she made that led to your absence. In these moments, she doesn't just think about you, she examines herself with a level of scrutiny she's rarely dared to confront. The arguments that seemed trivial at the time now appear in a different light. She remembers the time she dismissed your advice or belittled your concerns. The way you consistently showed up for her, emotionally, mentally, and sometimes even when it wasn't convenient, comes rushing back. She starts asking herself the tough questions. Why didn't I appreciate him more? Was my pride worth pushing him away? Did I let my insecurity sabotage something real? These questions aren't fleeting. They linger, weighing heavily on her mind. She begins to realize that her reactions, driven by ego or fear, played a significant role in the cracks that formed between you. Perhaps she was too focused on winning arguments, too defensive to hear the truth, or too guarded to fully open up. What's most striking about this phase is how regret shifts from being about you to being about her. She isn't just mourning the loss of you as a partner. She's mourning the loss of a version of herself that felt safe and understood in your presence. She recalls your patience during her vulnerable moments, your ability to listen without judgment, and how you always seemed to know when to challenge her to grow versus when to simply hold space for her emotions. It dawns on her that these weren't just acts of kindness, they were reflections of your inner strength and stoic resolve. This leads to a painful but necessary realization. She might have let her fears and insecurities cloud her judgment. The little things she once brushed off, the way you calmly handled disagreements, or supported her without needing recognition, now stand out as qualities she deeply undervalued. And the regret isn't just about what she lost, it's about what she could have become. She begins to understand that being with someone like you wasn't just about having a supportive partner. It was an opportunity for her to grow, to learn patience, to embrace vulnerability, and to become a better version of herself. In this stage of self-reflection, she starts to see the bigger picture. Losing you wasn't just about losing a relationship, it was about losing a mirror that reflected her potential. And that realization, it cuts deeper than any argument or breakup could. But this phase, as painful as it is, serves an important purpose. It's the catalyst for growth, setting the stage for the next chapter of her emotional journey. Now, what does she do with these revelations? How does she navigate the weight of her regret while trying to rebuild herself? The answer lies in the next step, where she'll come face to face with the specific moments and habits that led her here. It's a phase of reckoning, and it's one she can't avoid. 4. Realization of mistakes. As her regret deepens, she begins to focus on the specifics, the little moments and choices that piece by piece eroded the foundation of what you had together. It's no longer a vague sense of loss. Now, she's replaying exact scenarios in her mind with startling clarity. She remembers the times when you offered solutions during her moments of distress, only for her to brush them off as unsolicited advice. To the way you encouraged her to pursue her goals, believing in her potential even when she doubted herself. And yet, instead of gratitude, she might responded with defensiveness, unwilling to see your support for what it truly was, a reflection of your unwavering commitment to her growth. Now, in hindsight, these memories feel like a series of missed opportunities. She recalls arguments that could have ended with understanding if only she had let down her guard. She sees the times when she let her pride dictate her actions, refusing to apologize or admit fault, even when she knew deep down that you deserved better. Every smile you gave her in moments of conflict, every instance where you chose peace over proving a point, comes rushing back. She starts to understand that your calmness wasn't passivity, it was strength. Your ability to stay composed under pressure, a cornerstone of your stoicism, was a gift she often misinterpreted as emotional distance. But now those memories cut through her defenses like a blade. She realizes how often you prioritized the relationship over your own ego, making sacrifices she didn't fully appreciate at the time. And whether it was staying late to help her with a project, letting her vent about her day without immediately offering solutions, or simply being present when she needed you, your actions were consistent reminders of your loyalty and dedication. The most painful part of this stage is the growing awareness that these mistakes weren't just accidental. They were patterns, reactions rooted in her own fears and insecurities. She starts to see how she might have taken your patience for granted, assuming it was something she could always rely on without reciprocating in kind. In these quiet moments of reckoning, she asks herself, so why did I push him away when he was only trying to help? What would have happened if I'd been more open, more trusting, more appreciative? Did I truly value the rare qualities he brought into my life? Or was I too caught up in my own narrative to see the bigger picture? So the answers are not easy to face. They reveal a version of herself that was reactive, guarded, and at times unfair. It's a humbling experience, one that strips away the comforting layers of self-justification she's built over teaching. This phase marks a turning point. She can no longer deny her role in the dynamic that led to your departure. The realization of her mistakes forces her to confront the uncomfortable truth. Losing you wasn't just about what you did or didn't do, it was about what she failed to nurture. But this reckoning also plants the seeds of transformation. She starts to see the value in the lessons your relationship taught her, even if they came at a high emotional cost. And while the weight of her mistakes is heavy, it also carries with it the potential for growth. As she delves deeper into this journey, one thing becomes clear. She can't change the past, but she can learn from it. The next phase will challenge her to take these painful realizations and channel them into something constructive. The road ahead isn't easy, but it's the only path forward. 5. Lingering reminders. As time passes, she begins to notice that reminders of you are everywhere. At first, they seem innocuous, a song on the radio, a passing scent, or a place you used to visit together. But soon these little triggers start to feel like echoes of the past, pulling her back to moments she thought she had left behind. One day she's walking through a crowded street when she catches a glimpse of someone who dresses like you. Her heart skips a beat, and for a fleeting second she imagines it's you. But when she looks closer, reality sets in. It's not you. It's just the memory of how you used to stand out in your quiet confidence, the way you carried yourself with dignity and purpose. The reminders don't stop there. She hears a joke someone tells, and it instantly transports her to a moment when you made her laugh so hard she cried. A mutual friend mentions your name casually, and she's reminded of how deeply intertwined your lives once were. Even mundane objects, a coffee mug, an old playlist, or a worn-out book you recommended suddenly take on a heavier significance. These moments aren't just nostalgic, they're haunting. They remind her of the depth and authenticity of your connection. She starts to realize that your presence wasn't just comforting, it was formative. You didn't just share experiences, you shaped the way she viewed herself and the world around her. Each reminder brings a wave of emotions. Some days it's a gentle ache, a longing for simpler times. Other days it's a sharp pang of regret, a stark reminder of the opportunities she let slip away. When she begins to see that these weren't just fleeting moments, they were foundational to the person she was becoming while she was with you. And yet, these reminders are inescapable. They're woven into the fabric of her daily life, surfacing when she least expects them. A song you both loved comes on during her commute. A phrase you used often finds its way into her conversations. Even her dreams betray her, replaying memories that feel as vivid as the day they happened. What makes these reminders so powerful is that they don't just recall the past, they highlight the void left in your absence. She begins to understand that your influence wasn't confined to the relationship, it extended into every corner of her life. The way you encouraged her to chase her goals, the calm reassurance you provided during her anxious moments, and the unwavering belief you had in her potential, all of it lingers, even now. As these reminders accumulate, they become a silent but persistent presence. She can't ignore them, nor can she easily move past them. They serve as a testament to the impact you had, not just as a partner, but as someone who helped shape her journey. In many ways, these reminders are bittersweet. They bring a sense of comfort, a connection to a time when she felt truly understood. But they also carry the weight of what could have been, a constant reminder of a connection that was once within reach, but is now irrevocably lost. This stage is a pivotal one, as it forces her to confront the depth of her feelings and the significance of what she lost. The reminders act as mirrors, reflecting both the beauty of what you shared and the pain of its absence. And as she continues to encounter them, one thing becomes increasingly clear: the impact you left on her life is far from fleeting. It's a part of her now, a lasting imprint that she will carry with her, no matter where life takes her next. But this realization only deepens the emotional void she feels. In the next phase, we'll explore how this emptiness begins to shape her actions and decisions, driving her toward a greater understanding of herself and what she truly values. 6. The growing sense of emptiness. As the reminders of you continue to surface, an unsettling feeling begins to take root, a growing sense of emptiness. It's not the kind of loneliness that can be eased by spending time with friends or diving into hobbies. This is something deeper, more pervasive, and far harder to shake. At first, she tries to fill the void with distractions. She throws herself into work, takes up new activities, or surrounds herself with people who can keep her mind busy. For a while, it seems to help. The days feel fuller, the nights less quiet. But no matter how hard she tries, there's an underlying hollowness that refuses to go away. It's in the quiet moments, the spaces in between the busyness, where this emptiness becomes most apparent. As she realizes it's not just about missing you, it's about missing how she felt when she was with you. There was a sense of security in your presence, a quiet confidence that allowed her to be vulnerable without fear. You made her feel seen, valued, and understood in a way that no one else ever had. And now without you, she feels unmoored. The world seems a little less bright, her victories a little less satisfying. She begins to understand that the emptiness she feels isn't just a longing for companionship. It's a reflection of the unique connection you shared, one that brought out a better, more authentic version of herself. This void becomes especially apparent when she's with others. No matter how engaging the conversation or how thrilling the experience, there's a lingering sense that something is missing. It's as if a piece of the puzzle no longer fits, leaving a gap that no one else can fill. She starts to see that this emptiness is not just about losing you, but about losing the sense of wholeness she felt in your presence. The Stoic principles you live by, the calmness in adversity, the strength in your silence, the unshakable commitment to your values, were qualities that not only grounded you, but also provided her with a sense of stability. Without them, she feels adrift, searching for an anchor that she fears she may never find again. This sense of emptiness isn't just emotional, it's existential. She begins to question the choices she's made and the path she's on. She wonders if she'll ever find someone who can truly understand her, someone who can match the depth and authenticity of what you brought into her life. These questions are not easily answered, and the more she reflects, the more she feels the weight of what she's lost. But this phase, painful as it is, serves a crucial purpose. It forces her to confront the reality of her emotions and the depth of her attachment to you. It's a period of reckoning, where she must come to terms with the fact that some connections are not easily replaced, and that the emptiness she feels is a testament to the significance of what you shared. As she navigates this emotional landscape, she begins to understand that this emptiness isn't something that can be filled by external means. It's a void that requires introspection and growth, a journey inward to find the strength and resilience she admired in you. This growing sense of emptiness is both a burden and a catalyst, pushing her to confront her deepest fears and desires. It's a reminder that meaningful connections leave lasting imprints, and the absence of those connections can be a powerful force for self-discovery. In the next phase, we'll see how this emptiness leads her to confront her mistakes with even greater clarity, forcing her to take full accountability for her actions and choices. It's a painful but necessary step on her path to growth and self-awareness. 7. Realizing the depth of her mistakes. In the stillness of her growing emptiness, another truth begins to take shape. She starts to see the full extent of her mistakes. This isn't just a passing acknowledgement of regret. It's a deep, unflinching examination of her own actions and behaviors. She begins to recall the moments when she let her pride dictate her choices, the times when she chose to win an argument rather than understand your perspective. She remembers when you extended kindness or forgiveness, and she met it with cold detachment, convinced that vulnerability was a weakness. Each memory now feels like a heavy stone, adding weight to the realization that she played a significant role in the downfall of something rare and valuable. The more painfully she starts to connect the dots between her insecurities and the way she treated you. Maybe she pushed you away because she feared you'd eventually leave. Perhaps she withheld affection or appreciation, thinking it would protect her from being too dependent. But now, with you gone, she sees how these defensive tactics only serve to sabotage the very connection she craved. As she replays specific conversations in her mind, moments when you patiently explained your feelings, only for her to dismiss them. She remembers the times you compromised for her, sacrificing your own needs to make her feel valued. And she realizes that in her rush to protect her ego, she overlooked how much you were giving, how much you were investing in the relationship. The depth of these realizations is both humbling and painful. She begins to understand that your stoic approach to life, your ability to remain calm, composed, and principled, was something she often misinterpreted. What she once saw as emotional detachment was, in fact, a sign of strength, discipline, and emotional maturity. Now, in hindsight, she sees how rare those qualities were. She recognizes that you weren't just another person in her life, you were someone who brought clarity, balance, and purpose. You were a living example of what it means to lead with values, and that's not something easily found or replaced. To realizations stir a whirlwind of emotions. She feels regret, Yes, but also a deep sadness for the version of herself that wasn't ready to embrace what you had to offer. She starts to see that losing you wasn't just a loss of love. It was a missed opportunity for growth, for becoming a better version of herself alongside someone who truly cared. And here's where it gets even more profound. She knows that her mistakes weren't just isolated incidents. They were patterns, deeply ingrained habits that she now sees for what they are, barriers to genuine connection. This isn't easy for her to admit, but it's a crucial step in her journey. So now let's turn this to you, the viewer. Have you ever had someone come back and admit their role in a failed relationship? Or maybe you've been on the other side, coming to terms with your own mistakes. Drop a comment below if this resonates with you. Your story might help someone else going through the same journey. And if you're finding value in this insight, don't forget to like this video. Because here's the truth. Recognizing mistakes is only the beginning. What comes next is even more powerful, the desire to change, to grow, and to ensure that those mistakes are never repeated. In the final phase of her journey, she'll face the ultimate challenge, transforming these painful realizations into meaningful growth. Stay with us as we explore what happens when regret turns into a commitment to self-improvement. 8. The desire to improve herself. After confronting the depth of her mistakes, something begins to shift within her. The weight of regret and self-awareness doesn't just linger as pain, it transforms into a burning desire for change. She realizes that if she continues on the same path, she will carry these patterns into every future relationship, repeating the same mistakes and experiencing the same losses. And that thought is unbearable. This stage is not about winning you back, though that thought may cross her mind. It's about something much deeper, becoming the kind of person who can truly nurture and sustain a meaningful connection. The kind of person who embodies the qualities she once admired in you. She starts small, often with moments of introspection. Reads books on emotional intelligence and self-awareness, listens to podcasts about growth and resilience, and maybe even seeks out therapy to unpack the layers of fear and insecurity that have held her back. Each step she takes feels like peeling away an old version of herself, revealing someone more vulnerable yet more empowered underneath. Her journey is fueled by the realization that meaningful relationships require more than just love or attraction. They demand patience, humility, and a commitment to growth, qualities she now understands you displayed throughout your time together. She begins to model her life around these principles, seeking to integrate the stoic resilience and emotional steadiness she once saw in you. She starts practicing patience, not just with others but with herself. When faced with conflict, she tries to pause and reflect rather than react impulsively. So when insecurities arise, she acknowledges them instead of letting them dictate her actions. And perhaps most importantly, she learns to appreciate the value of open communication and vulnerability, two things she once struggled with but now sees as essential. This process is neither quick nor easy. There are moments of frustration, times when she slips back into old habits, and periods where the weight of her past mistakes feels overwhelming. But every setback becomes a lesson, and every lesson brings her closer to the person she aspires to be. So what drives her forward is not just the memory of what she lost, but the hope of what she could one day experience again. And she knows now that high-value relationships are built on a foundation of mutual respect, emotional maturity, and shared values. And if she ever has the chance to build something like that again, whether with you or someone else, she wants to be ready. In these moments of growth, she begins to see herself differently. She no longer views her past mistakes as failures, but as opportunities for transformation. She realizes that the version of herself who pushed you away wasn't fully equipped to appreciate or nurture the kind of connection you offered. But the version of herself she's becoming, she's stronger, wiser, and more open to love than ever before. This phase of self-improvement is deeply personal, and it's a testament to the lasting impact you had on her life. While you may no longer be a part of her daily existence, your influence continues to shape her journey, guiding her toward a future where she can approach relationships with greater clarity and intention. In the end, this transformation isn't just about finding someone new or rekindling old flames, it's about becoming the best version of herself. And that is the ultimate legacy of a high-value connection, the ability to inspire growth long after the relationship has ended. Her journey is far from over, but she's on a path that leads to greater understanding, not only of herself, but of what it truly means to love and be loved. And as she continues to evolve, she carries with her the lessons you taught her, consciously or not, about strength, patience, and the importance of living with integrity. As she reflects on her journey, the shock, the regret, the emptiness, and the eventual growth, one thing becomes undeniably clear. Losing you wasn't just a momentary setback, it was a defining experience. You were more than just a chapter in her life. You were a lesson in what it means to value authenticity, resilience, and emotional depth. The impact you left on her wasn't superficial. It was rooted in the principles you embodied, your stoic approach to life, your unwavering commitment to growth, and your ability to remain composed in the face of challenges. These were the qualities that made you stand out, and they continue to influence her long after you've parted ways. In many ways, your presence acted as a mirror, reflecting back the areas where she needed to grow. Through your calm patience and steadfast integrity, you showed her the kind of relationship that fosters not only love, but mutual respect and self-improvement. And now, as she moves forward, she carries those lessons with her, striving to become a person who can build and sustain a connection as profound as the one she once shared with you. As she may not find another like you, and she's come to terms with that, but the legacy of your relationship lives on in her choices, her mindset, and her approach to life and love. She's learned to value what truly matters and to cherish the rare qualities that define a high-value man. And for you, this journey serves as a powerful reminder of your own worth. The impact you have on others goes far beyond what's immediately visible. By staying true to your values and living with intention, you create a lasting ripple effect that inspires growth and transformation in those around you. So what do you think? Have you experienced the lasting impact of a high-value connection, either as the one who left or the one who stayed? Share your thoughts below. We'd love to hear your perspective. And if this journey resonated with you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video. Let's spread the wisdom of Stoicism and self-mastery, helping more people navigate the complexities of love and relationships. Thank you for watching, and remember, stay grounded, stay true, and keep grinding. See you in the next one.